Welcome to another edition of TesterSpeak special feature, and I'm your host Brijesh Deb. Today with me, I have somebody who is a super tester, a teacher, an author, a speaker, a motivator, and above all, a great friend. It gives me a lot of pleasure in welcoming to the show Ajay Balamurugadas. Welcome, Ajay.
Hi, Brijesh. Thank you very much for the introduction. I've never got that warm welcome anywhere else. So thank you very much.
Well, I think for a thought leader like you, the words that I express are really less. So I'm indeed, feeling very great because you've given me this opportunity to talk to you in the middle of a very busy day that you're having. So, how are you doing, Ajay?
All good. So it is mutual. I like what you're doing, what you have been doing, and what you're doing right now. So yeah, great to be on this platform. And yes, so any discussion on testing always adds good things to the day. So yeah, a great day.
Awesome, awesome. Well, so I mean, for the viewers, I need to tell something, and it's again a confession. I've been making a lot of confessions through these Tester Speak sessions. So I have been following your work for a little more than a decade, maybe. In 2010, it all actually began, where things started taking shape when there were a lot of Twitter discussions going on, especially. And I was new to Twitter and discovering, Twitter, and then came across a lot of these testers, including you. Pradeep Rajan was one of them, and then through your tweets and other stuff, I had started discovering. I even came to know about Santosh, and then slowly, gradually came to know about James Park and Michael Bolton, and I was quite amazed with the kind of work that you guys are doing. And to be very honest, you did a talk in CAST 2015, I believe, which is there on YouTube for people to see. And I think when I saw that talk, it just blew me away. I mean, to be very honest, that was one moving talk, one of the best that I have attended so far in my entire life. I have to confess that, Ajay. That was a brilliant talk. I think a lot of people need to watch that. It gave me a totally different perspective on how people could talk about testing and how passionate you were, and where the drive was coming from you, and that made me follow you even more closely. And I think I got an opportunity to meet you in 2017 during GTR, but we were talking before that, but we had never met. And
Right.
and then again, I attended. I watched your session live, and then I was like, wow, this guy is something. And ever since that day, things have totally changed. It is amazing, Ajay.
Thank you very much. And yeah, so that was a key moment in my life. And yes, so things continue to happen. I am lucky to be part of this big community which continues to support everyone. And see, when we were learning, uh, many leaders uh, helped us. And now maybe is the time to pass it on, right? So if you see someone who needs that help and you think you have already gone through that path, help them, right? So because you have already taken that help, so that help for free, so now it is your duty to pass it on. So yeah, I'm doing what I feel I can do, but at the same time there is a lot that needs to be done. uh, and I always feel this testing field is such a big ocean that it is all, even if every tester plays their part, we will still would have explored like 30% of this ocean, right? So there is a lot to explore, there is a lot to uh, do things, there's a lot to still to be done, right? So yeah, maybe we have scratched like 5% of what we can do.
And And you know what surprises me even more, Ajay, is that a lot of testers like you, or I name Pradeep and Santosh. Um, well, to be honest, all of you are younger. All of you are younger than I am, younger than me. If you just look at the age, but then I have also realized that the kind of achievements that you have in this span of career that you have had is so inspiring that I get a lot of energy from that. And I keep telling people that it doesn't matter whether it's somebody who's just started their career, or has spent 30, 35, 40 years in testing. Somebody like a stalwart like a James Bach or Michael Bolton, who spent a lot of time testing. You have to look for sources of inspiration. You have to look for moments where you can try and learn. And I think you guys are the best example that I can give to other people. So yeah, I mean, keep up all the great work that you've been doing.
Thank you. And in technology or in general, age is just a number.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
So
see, you continue to accept, or you have that mindset that you still have to learn stuff. That itself is an inspiration to many, right? So thank you very much.
exactly. Thank you so much. So I already described as to how I got inspired or influenced by you. So maybe it's a good idea if you could just give the audience a little sneak preview about your testing journey, because I'm sure there are lots of lessons to be learned from there. So how did you get started?
Right. So it all start. Okay, let's go right from that day one, right, of testing. I come from a printing technology background, a bachelor's in
Wow.
engineering in printing technology, wherein we studied ink for 3 months, paper for 3 months, printing machines for 3 months, right? So advertising for 3 months, marketing for 3 months, uh, quality for 3 months, like that. So like every semester, one subject, right? So I had no clue software testing or software development. I knew software development, which I used to by heart the programs and clear my C, or right, so C subject. Uh, but then I had no clue that there used to be something called as software testing, and this was the only company which paid double or triple the salary that could be given to a printing engineer. So everyone from our class applied to this company, and 8 of us got selected, and we were hired as associate quality engineer, associate quality assurance engineer, as the domain specialist to test software for the printing industry. Made sense. We had studied printing technology, so there was a software. This company created software for the printing industry, so they needed some domain specialist to test their software. So I started testing. The first 15 days we had to go through the training in terms of like waterfall model, V model, test case, bug, defect, all of that. Fantastic. That's also done. And I feel that if I'm doing something, I want to do it like the best, the expert, right? Or else don't do it. Okay. So
Right.
I aced that exam 15 days. After 15 days, I topped the batch and all of that. Then I am handed over test cases, Excel sheet. So okay, two such execution rounds are done. Then I think I have so many questions. The Excel sheet says upload a file. Okay, and I'm like, uh, it kind of said upload a 5 MB file, and I'm like, why 5 MB file? I'll upload 5 GB file, right? And then I would never complete my test cases. Everyone would complete their test case, I would not. They'll say, why you are not completed? I found a bug, or I crashed my machine, or I crashed the application, or something of that sort. So my execution percentage was always around 30% on the Friday, right? So with that, I had to come on Saturday, Sunday to finish the work, because Monday call you will be asked, right? So I started coming on weekends. Then one fine day, I I searched on Google that how to become expert software tester. Because now that we have decided we have to become we are a software tester, so let's become the expert. So I said, how to become a software testing expert. Precisely 1 month ago, year is 2006, maybe June or July, James Bach's video on becoming a software testing expert was released on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then I watched that whole 1 hour video. Then I realized, wow, here is the recipe. Let's follow that. Then I attended a workshop by Pradeep Soundarajan on exploratory testing, rapid software testing, half-day workshop. I paid 1/4 of my salary, and people were like crazy. They said, "You are crazy. Who will spend 1/4 of their salary for a workshop, right? So for a half-day workshop and all of that." And I was like, "I will learn, right? So I will spend." So I did that, and then I could connect what James Burke told and what Pradeep was teaching. I could connect, and then from there it was like, brakes were removed and my foot was on the accelerator. It followed by BBST, Twitter talks, then follow different blogs, then present at QAI, present at Step In, and yeah, it just kept on going. And then 99 tests, right? So then after 1 year of such testing, I realized that I don't want to be a tester who specializes in printing technology alone, but I want to be a tester who can test anything, any domain. So whatever it requires to learn that, let's learn that, right? So that was the journey. So morning, 8 o'clock, cab would come near my house, pick me up, drop me in office at 9, pick me up back by 6 o'clock, drop me at home by like 7. So from 8 o'clock in the night till 1 o'clock in like 1 a.m., right? At least 2 to 3 days a week, I used to study. I used to study testing, open up Twitter, go through, discuss with people. I used to sleep early so that I wake up at 12 or 1 o'clock so that when James pings, James or Michael tweets, I put in a small reply as in, hey, look, I'm a tester. I want to get to your attention, right? So I used to sleep early and wake up with an alarm to do that, right? And read blogs, pick up an application and test, right? While doing all of this, I realized that, oh wow, it's so fun testing software. So then I and Parimala tested software. I mean, pair testing. Right? With that, then the next week, 4 people tested. Me, Manoj, and Sharath. Right. So it was like 11 p.m. in the night. We were searching for software we couldn't find, but we found one, and then we completed. That was August 8th. Then August 15th, we said, oh wow, this is a fantastic platform with mentorship of Pradeep. We launched weekend testing to the world on August 15, 2009. Right. So yeah, so I love testing, and sometimes it has put me in trouble in personal life, but yeah, that's okay. To get something, you need to sacrifice something. So yeah, so that's kind of
Well, wow,
intro.
what
How it
what a what a way to get started. And you mentioned some names there. I mean, incredible people: Pradeep Sundararajan, Parimala, Hariprasad. I mean, incredible people to learn from, and James Bach himself. So when you were sending those tweets in the middle of the night, did you manage to get their attention, or how was it? How was that experience?
I had to spend at least 5 to 15 minutes trying to understand what they were saying. I couldn't understand. Okay, so then that was like a homework. Understand what they are trying to say, and at the same time look like you're creating the tweet in that moment, right? So it was okay. And then, but then after a few days, I left that because it was not great posing as someone who knew stuff without knowing stuff. So I would rather go and learn that stuff, right? And I am an early riser, or um, or rather, I would say I can get up early consistently. In and one such session where me and Balaji, even Balaji Ponnada is a early riser, so we both
Yeah.
started testing at 4 o'clock in the morning for an hour on Flipkart. Okay, then we posted our report. Flipkart CTO pinged us in the comment saying, "Hey, now that you found issues, can you send it over?" And just imagine that we did not email him back. We were new. We did not know what is a CTO and things like that, right? Now we think, oh, what if we had replied to his ping and given him the bugs that we had already found, right? So interesting stuff, interesting journey. Recently completed 14 years, so lot of mistakes, lot of experiences, lot of friends. Uh, yeah, interesting experiences is what I would say.
Well, you mentioned Balaji Ponada. He's another super tester. I mean, you can't miss him if you are in the testing
Right.
scene. Great guy to talk to and to learn from. I'm glad that you had the opportunity of testing with him. I hope I get that opportunity someday. But I've had a lot of admiration for him. Well, that's good. So now that you've spent 14 years in the industry, you just mentioned. Uh, so you've seen kind of the testing in 2006 evolve to what it is right now. So what do you think have been some of the challenges or misconceptions you have to deal with? Let me talk about misconceptions. What have been some of the misconceptions you've had to deal with?
Oh, it's very easy. Testing is very easy. That's the constant misconception right from 2006 to 2020, and it will stay. Don't worry, it will not go away so soon. It will stay. It will stay. See, anyone who doesn't know a particular subject will think it's easy, right? Oh, magician, what's there? He just hides it and then shows it. It must be in that particular instrument or the prop that the magician uses. But only a true magician can appreciate what are the skills required for a magician. Same is with testing. If you don't understand testing, it will look easy for you. If you understand it, you will realize that there is so much that a tester needs to pay attention to. And most of the times, or let's use the word always, or no, let's use most of the times for the sake of safety language. Most of the times, testing happens in the mind. Because in this moment when I realized that I have to use, let me use always, I said, oh, there can be a chance when testing can happen outside the mind also. So no,
Yeah.
don't use always, most of the times, right? So see, still I'm learning. Most of the times testing happens in the mind. So when people look at you and they're definitely not able to see what's happening in your mind. They feel like, oh, what's there? There's nothing much. Whereas if you see a programmer and it's like, oh, I know the code is being written and then it's executing and all of it. For a tester is like he's staring into the system. Inside he's thinking. He or she is thinking, modeling, relating. Oh, I have seen this bug somewhere else. Oh, how is this different? Oh, how will we deploy this? What would happen if the connection gets disconnected? Oh, hold on. I am been thinking for last 5 seconds. That itself is a test for this system, right? Will it handle? Oh, but then my tester what? Oh, wait. I have to submit in like 5 minutes. All of this is happening in the mind, but very few people are able to put it in words and explain to anyone what they are doing. You ask
Right.
most of the testers, they'll say, oh, I'm testing ABC feature. They're not able to explain what is being configured, what is being operated, what is the operation, what is the observation, what are they evaluating against, what is that oracle. They're not able to tell that. And when
Yeah.
the majority is like this, the perception in the industry is obvious. They'll say, oh, I asked 5 testers, all of them told I'm testing. Whereas when I asked 5 developers, they told I'm implementing this pattern. I am executing this code using this particular method, right? So then, see, when you are able to explain what you're doing, people will appreciate it more rather than when you put it in layman terms like I'm testing, right? So it is highly, or it is partly because of us testers who are not able to explain testing to others that people continue to think testing is easy, right? That is misconception number one. uh, let me pick one and stop there. Second is, uh, I'm split between two. One is either testing is what is stopping the release is one, or should I talk about that, or there is always something new to learn, and testing mindset is not important, right? These are the other two things which people keep talking about. People say, oh, if I have, Selenium, I can get everything automated. You go
I would
after
want to
six
know
months
about. I
also.
would want to know your thoughts about this one. You know, when there is something new to learn, the testing mindset being ignored at that.
Correct. So people think if they learn something, their life is set in terms of tools. Then I'm like, if that was true, the QTP guys or the Silk or the Borland, right? They should be happy. Why are we changing? Because there is a need. And what is
Right.
common is, can you learn quickly? If you have that skill, if you know, or if you learn how to learn, you can learn anything. People are not focusing on how to learn. People are focusing on, okay, what's new in the market? Let me do that. They are not able to find a pattern of learning across all these new things. That hurts a little. If they are able to do that, then they will not be afraid. Tomorrow something else comes, they'll be like, oh, okay, that's yet another tool based on its features and the problems. I will use it. Right now, people are afraid, uh, which is a sad state also. Right? So many people are afraid. So many people think saying, "Oh, I don't know ABC tool. I don't know, this language. Will I lose my job?" Yeah, if you don't learn anything else, you will lose. But I'm not saying learn that, learn the new things. But there is much more than a tool, much more than automation. You need to have a testing mindset. You need to learn how to learn and start adding value. Right? You need to add value. You need not necessarily always know a particular tool. Right?
Correct.
So yeah, then it takes time, it takes experience, it takes some mistakes for people, and it is mostly on the lines of confidence breeds confidence. If they
Yes.
always keep seeing failure, then they feel like, oh yes, I think I will attract more failure. But if they have touched or tasted success once, they get that confidence that, oh, I will anyway manage and start adding value. So yeah, that's where I sometimes encourage people and say, don't worry. I want to help you taste success once. Then even I can't stop you. Right.
Right.
So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you make a very good point about confidence breeding confidence, and we've seen that happen with a lot of testers over the years. I have had that myself. Okay, so uh, when I started off talking about automation, let's not go to implementing automation. When I started talking about automation, I was scared to talk about it because I knew very little, and I always was thinking, what if I go wrong? Okay, will people make fun of me? Okay, and I started thinking about that, and I that kept playing on my mind every time a conversation started. And but then eventually, what I started doing is, I said, "No, doesn't matter. Let me at least go ahead and talk about it." Okay, and
hmm,
that will give me avenues to learn things that I don't know. I will come to know from people. If I'm wrong, people will tell me that I'm wrong, and then I will have the perfect opportunity to ask them, okay, can you please guide me what is the right way? And that's how it all started. And back in the day, we were dealing with QTP as one of the big tools that we had in the market at that point of time, and everybody was talking about it. And then so I started talking about it, and I said, okay, there's a lot of coding involved. Okay, record and playback, then descriptive programming you have to do, and you have to learn the concepts. And then I started asking, okay, so what is happening here? I'm I am looking at the system. I have some test cases written. I'm just trying to program them into QTP, and so that QTP can execute them for me. But is it actually testing? Probably it is not. Okay, and I did not at that time. I did not know about the testing versus checking thing, and I had not come across those discussions. So it was a question that was in my mind always, and I would go back and ask, and people said, "No, this tool is meant for a specific purpose. That is,
hmm,
any redundant tests that you repeatedly will help you so that you have time to think about other things." I said, "Okay, what about situations where I want to generate a lot of test data? You know, can I use my skills, my programming skills to do that? will you consider that as automation? A lot of people that time, those days, said no to it, to my surprise. And now, even now, today, I feel that that has somehow been there in the industry, that people, when they talk about things like automation, they talk about only the regression testing, or they always talk about repeated tests being run by a machine. Yeah. So it is to me, again, one of the biggest misconceptions that people have about automation, right? So automation is much more than just regression testing. Let's understand that. I mean, let a machine generate lots of data for you. Brilliant example, brilliant case for doing it. And I gave this example in the previous TesterSpeak interview as well, where I was telling that I had a situation. We had a project where during a particular test that we were running, we had to reboot certain set of machines 14 times. Now, who would go to the lab every time and reboot those 14 machines and watch them come up? Such a waste of time. You could do it using a shell script, right? Sitting at your desk, you could write a shell script, target those 14 machines, do it and watch them come up, because you can, of course, put in a flag saying when the machine is up, send me a signal. There is a transaction that happens and you come to know that the machine is up and you can continue with your test. Rather than going and standing there and watching it. And sometimes people used to carry coffee into the lab, and then there is this danger of coffee spilling on the lab. Okay, so all of that, I'm just giving an example because it happened. People would go into the lab with a cup of coffee and somebody spilled it, and then it became a big scene. How can you do this in the lab and all that? Then drinks not allowed sticker came up. So we've had all of that. So it brings me to think that we need to constantly keep our minds open and learn to get rid of these misconceptions. It's a long process. It's a long journey. That doesn't happen overnight. These misconceptions have accumulated over ages, maybe generations. So we probably need 2-3 generations to over them. But let's start with us now. Having said that, I know that you do a lot more than just do testing. You presented in conferences. You've carried workshops for testers and all that. So I see that the central theme, I mean, it's again, might want to add on to that, is all about learning, and it's all about testers having that willingness to learn. So how do you see that? I mean, do you see a lot of testers having that willingness to learn, or do you see that also needs to be driven somehow?
See, testers are ready to learn, but are afraid of failing and don't have the company to support. When I say don't have the company, it's not the job company, it's the people company. Right? They don't have the company to support. For the simple reason being, they don't ask for it. Right? They feel they see the mountain and they see that, oh, it's such a big problem to solve. But let me tell you, each one of us, when we saw the 10th board exam, we felt that is the biggest problem in our life. Didn't we solve it? Right?
Yeah.
I can give you one more. 12th board exam. Again, you thought it's the biggest, and even before that, you did not do a particular school homework and you thought, okay, today is the end of my, right? But then, see, problems at that age or every age looks so big. But then for someone who has already experienced it, that's where the mentors come in. For them, they know which problem is a real problem and which problem is a temporary problem, right? I am not an expert in something, so how can I share something? It shouldn't matter. You are unique. There is no one else like you. Okay? So we should understand that we are not the first one to do something, and we will not be the last one to do something. Okay, people have already tested software. Even after us, people will test software. So don't complicate things so much. I need to be an expert. Expert is a relative term.
Yeah.
That bar keeps on moving, right? So share what you know. It's right or wrong. You are afraid saying, oh, what if others correct? What will others think about me? They don't have time to think about you. I can bet my whole salary. They don't have time to think about you. They have their own problems to think about. Okay. So
Yes.
please share. And I believe that I am afraid of one word, and I am also confident of that same word. It's called experience. If I have got experience and my opponent doesn't have that experience, my confidence is sky high. If I don't have that experience, my opponent has the experience, then I will put in 200% preparation to meet that to get that experience and compete. Right?
Correct.
So why am I doing all of this? Workshops, video calls, or mentoring, one-to-one mentoring, or participating communities, writing books. Why am I doing this? To get experience. I want to see if I want to do something for a lifetime, I shouldn't be starting from zero at that time.
Right.
For example, if the need comes that I need to do a particular task, right? Maybe I need to start teaching to software testing students from tomorrow. There is no other option, right? That time I don't want to experience that feeling of, oh, how will it be? I want to experience it right now to know whether I should go with option A or option B. Many people don't have one more skill, right? And that's why they are so afraid and agree to everything and anything that their manager or their company tells, even though it is not ethical or not true or not helping the customer in the right sense, because they are afraid of losing jobs. If you are confident of your skills, no one can beat you, right?
Correct.
So focus on your skills, focus on learning, and experiment when there is no need of that particular experience, not when there is actual need, and then you feel like, oh, I have lost my job, now I need to replace my salary with some avenue. What should I try? It will not happen. You can be very rich in anything you take. It just takes 10 years. But now you need, so that you must have invested 10 years ago. So whatever you invest now, you will get it after 10 years, right? So if you have not started maybe blogging, tweeting, sharing, talking with testers or interacting with testers, this is the time.
Right.
Results will come after 10 years. Is there any other way to get results before that? No, there is no other way, right? I keep asking testers, how many testers do you know in your organization? They say, I know my team. Okay, so that's the first thing you need to correct. Why are you not knowing the other testers? Same community, you can get test ideas, things like that. Okay, next, how many testers outside your company do you know? I am surprised many people will say 0 or 1, or it's like my batchmate, same college, and that's why who is a friend who is not. So I'll say, how many stranger, right? Not friends. How many, right? Whom you not know as your classmate who is a tester? They'll say no. Then I'm like, why not? Then the next final question I ask is, how many testers know you? If we get answers to these questions, if we work on building a reputation to get these questions answers, we'll be in a safer and happier place, happier with peace of mind, right?
Absolutely. So you mentioned something about investing. That brings me to a very good point. Okay. Why do you think it is necessary to invest in learning? And what do you think are the avenues to do that? And why should testers do it?
Okay. So I invest for the simple reason that I can learn something which I can use to get at least 3x times the investment. So wherever I invest, I ensure I get at least 3x times the investment. So people say, oh, you attended this conference, it is so costly. You paid 1 lakh to go to Vietnam in 2009. right? So like, yeah, 2010 or 2009, I don't remember. It's been so long. So then I tell, yeah, of course, like, because Kem Kainer was attending, and if I had to go to US to meet Kem Kainer, it would be more costly because I had already
Yeah.
met Kem Kainer during the BBST videos courses. So now I wanted to meet him. Just to meet him, I went there, and also I had won the contest there. So conference ticket was free, but then flight was on me. I had to break the RDFD and take it and go. And my family was like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sure. I'll ensure that I'll get back the money. Don't worry. Please give me money." So investing is essential for your career, for the simple reason that you yourself will not know everything, right? And these are your sources of new learning, and these new learning related to the neurons in the brains, right? So a new neuron is like a new connection. It brings in more connections, right? So this way it keeps on growing. So the more the connections, so the better. And then you should work on it. It's not like if you attend a workshop, then you're like superhero. Sorry, just plug in. If you attend a workshop and then if you ensure that you apply it, then it is the best thing that can happen to you, right? Now I will tell you examples of where I have done these investments and how it has helped me in terms of both reputation, money, and learning. Okay, the order actually doesn't matter for those who are picking up on the order. Um, I invested my money for BBST courses. I went on my own money for CAST. Went on my own money for Vietnam VistaCon conference. And then I attended multiple workshops by Pradeep, Rahul Verma, um, Ashok, T. Ashok, Matt Heusser, Pete Wallen, uh, Fiona Cha's tutorial. So many things I have invested in books, right? So I don't know, should be more than like 300 to 700 books in my house. So much on books, so much on courses, right? And I will tell you, there are so many things that have come to me after I've done all this and applied and demonstrated in the social media and in a job. For example, it looks like I've mostly worked with my friends because it's like uh, there's hardly super formal interviews and all. Okay, it was more like, hey, you know what? We have this problem. I think you are a good fit. How much salary do you think you want? Right? It was not like, can you solve this particular coding problem or can you solve this particular problem? When I was in my first job, I was doing 99 test freelancing, and through that I got my second job, right? Because I tested their software and they liked the report and said they want to meet me. And when they met me, they said, now that you have tested, do you think you would want to join us? I said, yeah. And then they said, okay, how much do you want? Right. So that's the kind of conversation where I actually went ahead and doubled my salary from the first to second job. Right. From the second job, again, I went to a friend, then again to a friend. With each of these friends, what has happened is I have attended 5 days with rapid testing intensive with James and John. I have attended 5 days of problem solving leadership with Jerry Weinberg and Esther Derby. Uh, right. So, see, these are the perks that you get. And how did all of this happen? Because of the hard work that I put in the initial years, and I continue to put in across different avenues now. Right. So people think, oh, see, it is like you are lucky, you get all of these. Just like that iceberg image, what is happening in the background, very few people know. So I need to get up at morning 6 o'clock even on Saturdays and Sundays because I have classes. Either I'm attending or I'm teaching. Right. So that's example of the hard work that goes in. And once you do that, then it's like, yeah, you enjoy. And luckily, I enjoy testing, so it all fits in the ikigai.
Well, I think this is a phenomenal piece of wisdom that testers need today. I think a lot of us start taking things easy. Said, oh, I must get the perks immediately. It doesn't happen immediately. If you have to put in a lot of effort, there is a lot of consistent, focused effort that needs to go in, and I call it.
So there was a time. There was a time I used to attend exploratory testing workshops. Now I conduct those workshops.
Yeah, exactly.
So magic can happen if you put in the effort.
Right. And that's where I talk about, being able to be self-aware that, okay, here I stand today. And if I have to get there, then these are the things that I need to do. And only when you do these things, you will get there, not without that. So that's where I also feel that it is, important to invest. Okay, you will get supported at times when you show that interest, when you show that enthusiasm, you will get supported. But then you have to then again go back and think, okay, now I have been supported, will I get supported the next time? Maybe not. So I have to do some groundwork, invest, and then make progress. And that's how the cycle should follow. So thank you for sharing that. Now I want to touch upon something that you spoke about earlier, and that is about weekend testing. Now,
Right.
I know that it is awesome. It started with you, and then it became a worldwide phenomena. A lot
Yeah,
of
it
testers are
started
doing
with
it.
four.
Yeah.
Right. It started with four of us, and then yeah, now I am doing it, and a lot of support from industry leaders. And for my previous learning and my journey also, there have been like constant support from James, Michael, and many mentors. Each one has played their own sweet role in the time phase. I'm thankful to them, and at the same time, yes. So the journey is on. So I feel I think there's few more years where I can test software. So long journey. So maybe episode 2 after 10 years, maybe let's again talk.
Well, for those who are wondering what weekend testing is, I'm going to put a link in the description of this particular video when it goes live on YouTube. I'm going to put a link in the description so that you can go visit the website, and of course you can talk to Ajay for the audience.
Right. So weekend testing was started when we felt like we had to practice testing skills. In office, we cannot practice because it's like live customer, money, and all of that. So pick up anything and okay, let's practice today bug report. Let's practice tomorrow, say testing reporting, right? So that way it started on a weekend, and then slowly people like that idea. So in the first 1 hour, you test as per a mission in Skype, right? All of this happens on the in Skype, and then the next 1 hour you discuss uh, with all the participants on how that session went. Maybe you will give a tool that you use, I will give a test data, or I will give a test idea that I used, right? Someone will share a mistake that they did. So there is learning, and all of this chat transcript goes on the weekend testing website. So this way we have conducted more than 200 sessions, including chapters in America, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, yes, and Indian chapters, of course.
so yeah,
So
if
two
testers are, sorry, go ahead. You're saying something.
So it's like 400 hours of real testers talking about testing, doing actual testing. If you want to read about it, go to weekend testing website, pick any session report, and practice on your own for the first 1 hour, and see the next 1 hour how actually testers have done it, and compare your results. Right. So there are lots of benefits. One is the practice. Second is you get to learn so many new tools or techniques or approach. You get to experience different context. You get to meet so many tester friends, and you can be connected, and they can be your learning partner. And finally, this becomes one of the parts of your online portfolio. Tomorrow in the
Yes,
interview, they ask, "Do you know something about testing?" They'll say like, "Oh, what do you want me to tell you about?" Right?
exactly.
Right. If you want to test my automation skills, or if you want to test what do I know about performance testing, maybe I should open up that weekend testing report where I've contributed. Here is my test report, right? So yeah, so make use of that platform. It's free, of course.
Well, yeah, that's exactly that I would also suggest testers to do. I mean, I have read your reports, weekend testing reports. I have not been a part of a session as such because weekends for me are busier than weekdays, thanks to my 2-year-old son. But then, what I normally do, as my learning activity is, whenever I find time, especially when I'm, in the pre-corona world, when I used to travel from work or something like that, or whenever I have spare time, I would pick up an app, and a mobile phone is the best place to do so, because you've got so many apps. You start testing, and I used to make notes, and I used to exchange those notes with the developers of that particular app. Send them an email that this is what I found. Would you guys want me to tell you more? If they say yes, then I would send them a detailed testing report. It has been fruitful, I must confess. I've got paid for doing that. Some of them have done that. Some of them have chosen not to pay, but that's fine, because it's a learning for me. So find that avenue of learning, and I see weekend testing being one of the greatest avenues that are there. Now, well, we've been talking for a long time, and I already said thank you so much for giving me time in your busy day. So before I wrap up, I will wrap up with the question that I ask everybody. So if Ajay is not testing, or not talking about testing, or not, I know you eat, sleep, breathe testing, but if you're not doing that, what else are you doing?
Talking to friends, my school friends, or picking any of the contacts in my phone and calling them up and asking, is this still your number? Are you alive? Why have you not called me? Right. So making fun, and yeah. So some I so when I left my first job, so people said stay in touch. Okay. So after getting out of that job, every month I went there and said, hey, hi. They're like, hey, don't you have a job? I'm like, I have, but then I wanted to meet you because you are the ones who told stay in touch. Right? So that kind, I've been very lucky with in terms of friends. So I value friends a lot. So uh, I make friends slowly, but then when I make it, it's like, I put everything out in the open to them, and they also feel that they can trust me. So yeah, I spend a lot of time with my friends talking on phone, because again, I don't like traveling, and um, anything that includes travel or something means a lot of time. That means I can't test. So finish off in a call once in 14 days, 15 days, call someone, wish on birthdays, or call and crack the old school jokes, and be happy.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Great. I think that's a very interesting aspect of how to keep in touch with the people who say keep in touch, but somehow lose touch. So that's a big lesson for everybody. Well, on that note, Ajay, I would like to thank you so much once again for your time today. I am really, really happy. I feel honored to have you, and to have learned so much from you during the course of this interview. You've given me a lot of ideas for things to do. I am sure that a lot of testers who listen to this conversation will also learn, and I feel happy that in you I have found not only somebody who is very inspiring, but a great friend. So thank you so much, Ajay. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much, Brijesh. I know we have been doing this multiple scheduling stuff, but yeah, see, when relationships are good, you adjust both sides, and that's what made it possible. So thank you very much. And the test chat, uh, join it, not just because Brijesh has interviewed me, but because there has been good conversations going on there. There is a little bit of noise, which is obvious with any community. I would say if I am a tester, I'm a tester. But if I'm someone who's like, less super eager, never joined any community and stuff like that, what I would suggest is back up those notes, whatever you like, put it in your Google Drive or wherever you back up, and then refer to them. These are gems, what is happening there. But it is because there is so much happening, you will lose some of it. If you don't make notes, you forget about it. If you don't revise, you don't remember it. If you don't remember it, you can't apply it. If you don't apply it, what's the value of spending time there, right? As I told, if you are investing in anything, make sure you get 3x out of it, be it time or money. So yeah, go to test chat, but ensure you get 3x out of it. And that will happen when you give 6x to the
Thank
test
you,
chat.
Ajay, for that shout out to test chat. I will share one quick secret before we end this. So the test chat, although I started it, uh, thanks to some of my friends, we got this idea and we started it. It is sometimes even overwhelming for me to keep up to it. And so what I do is I spend a dedicated hour almost at the end of my day to go over the chats. And now what is happening is, the funny thing is, when my day is about to end, it is James Bach who is very active at that time. So I get to spend at least 10-15 minutes chatting with him, of course on the page. So it is absolutely incredible. So again, thank you so much for your time, Ajay. I cannot thank you enough for giving me your time today.
Thank you.
I wish you a wonderful day ahead, and I will look forward to continue to learn from you.
Let's mark this date. In 1 year, let's do something awesome together. Okay.
Awesome.
Second.
Yes, it is the 2nd of September 2020.
Yes.
We'll keep that in mind. Okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks
All the best.
for your time.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
See you.